Hey, everybody. We are live. I'm going to give folks a moment to join in. I'm really excited about today's topic. I see our first victim has joined online. Let me know in the chat where you're joining from. I'll pop a hi in the chat. And we're going to get started in just a moment. I'm going to make sure my phone is on silent so it doesn't ding on me. I hope everyone is well today. Let me just pull up my LinkedIn chat too, because I can't see that one on the computer as easily. All right, let's see. Where do I find my own live? All right. Hi, all right, folks. Yes, I love seeing people join in. We're going to be talking about another framework today. All right, so last week, I think it was. Anyway, I decided I would do this short series on various frameworks that have influenced my thinking on leadership and that I go to as tools to help me make decisions and to help my clients make decisions, whether they're in the Thrive program or one-on-one. And previously, we talked about the Cynefin framework, I believe, and the jobs to be done framework. And today we're going to be talking about Scrum. Scrum comes from the web development, app development space, and it is probably the most well-known framework within what's called Agile, which is kind of a philosophy about how to basically get projects done. So it's a framework for developing products, usually digital products, but it can be used outside of the digital space. So there are a few key things in Scrum that I love. So, and we're going to go into like, what is it? Because I know you're like, it sounds so vague, but it has some key concepts here. It is iterative. So when you're following Scrum, you're not doing like designing the whole project, spelling the whole project out like some giant thing, and then executing each milestone. You're designing the next step of the project, and then you're executing that, and then you're, implementing it, seeing how it goes, and then you're setting up the plan to build the next piece. So it is iterative. It is also self-organizing. So one of the cool things about Scrum is Scrum has very specific team roles. So one of those roles is what's called the product owner. So the product is the thing that you're creating, and the product owner is responsible for maximizing the value of the product, and they're accountable for what they call the product backlog. So these are the things that are in that to be done column. And so they are prioritizing it and making sure that the most valuable features adding to the product, or if you're a nonprofit, you could say program, and the most valuable or impactful elements of the program that those get developed first. Or if we're talking funding, right? You might be the product owner, and the product backlog might include the activities or steps that you're going to implement, right? Add to your system of reaching out to donors that are going to have the most impact first. In Scrum, we also have the Scrum Master, who facilitates the whole process, and they serve as a coach for the team and the product owner, right? So in some ways, I think of myself as a Scrum Master for my clients. I help coach them through using a process. So in my case, usually I'm coaching them through many things, but coaching them or consulting with them through using the impact method. So the Scrum Master helps remove roadblocks and promote the principles of Scrum and help the team overall improve its performance. Then we have the team or the development team. They are responsible for actually creating the product increment by increment, and they work in sprints. Sprints are blocks of time, often 1 or 2 weeks. Scrum, I believe, as it was developed, is you can kind of decide what your sprint is. In the impact method, we have taken this concept of sprints and we use it, but we always do 2-week sprints. So the development team is deciding, they're planning each sprint. So they self-organize, right? There's no one leader. This is one of the principles behind Scrum as a framework. And any great framework has some great principles behind it. They're going to choose their own methods, how they're going to do the work, their own tools, what they're going to use to do it. And they're going to work collaboratively as a group to deliver a high quality project. Then as part of that, they're going to have these focus sprints, and in Scrum, they call it retrospectives. I've also borrowed from that concept when I developed the impact method. So we have sprint renewals, we call them. So, and I like the concept of renewing, right? But it's the same as it goes into a retrospective. So we complete a sprint of work. Those are projects that can be anywhere in your organization. And we take a look at what got done, what didn't get done, what needs to be done differently, what did we learn, right? What needs to be changed, what needs to be stopped, what should we not keep doing because it really didn't work out like we planned, and what did we maybe learn that we forgot about or that we discovered we need to add. Scrum is such a valuable and well-known framework. There's lots of information about it on the internet. It keeps projects moving while minimizing burnout, because whenever we get into the weeds with implementing something new, there's always stuff that we don't know, right? The unknown unknowns. This is the world of the complex domain sometimes. We talked about that when we talked about the Cynefin framework. So if we try to plan everything in advance, we can't actually plan for the things we don't know. And so very quickly, our plan breaks down. But when we do this iterative, self-learning, self-organizing kind of process, the plan easily adapts because it's an emergent plan. The plan comes out of what we learned, right? So rather than a big prescription, or they actually in the project management world, they call that waterfall planning, when it's just like one big plan broken down into big milestones, broken down into projects, right? And everything's laid out in the beginning. It's very prescriptive. An agile framework like Scrum allows us to have an emergent plan. And emergent plans, especially when we're working in the world of the complex, they allow us to eliminate a lot of waste. They prevent us from doing things that shouldn't be in the plan. And they allow us to quickly make changes to the plan, like just in time, right as we need them. And so they become efficient. And this is why they become both more effective and minimize burnout. And I wish I had the name for you, but there is a famous promoter of Scrum who always would say that with Scrum, you can do twice the work in half the time. I don't know if we have the evidence to back that up, but I can tell you from my work with my clients who have implemented the impact method, which has quite a bit of Scrum influence in it, that they absolutely end up getting more work done with less time spent on doing that work. It's such a pleasure to be with you. If you'd like to be learning the impact method, I teach that in the Thrive program, and I help organizations implement it one-on-one. It is a framework that combines strategy with execution, so that you always have a strategic plan. We even do strategy development in an iterative way in the impact method. If you're a small, medium-sized organization, let's say between 250,000 and 3 to 5 million, it depends very much on how big your team is, you might be a great fit for the Thrive program. If you're a larger organization, or you just know you're looking for that one-on-one implementation support to help you move really quickly, maybe you're a better fit to work together one-on-one. Either way, it all starts with an application at pivotground.com/application. Tell me a little bit about your situation, and then we'll get on a call and we'll see what makes sense from there. Until next time, it's always such a pleasure to be with you and give you tips about how to work smarter, not harder.